You are allowed to raise your baby. But my affair partner? Oh, well, he wants to decide the name.
Bruh.
Warning. The following story will be upsetting to cheaters. You have been warned.
Jesus Christ.
My wife is 30 years old, and she's always worked out and been in good shape. But lately I feel like it's becoming alarmingly excessive. She used to regularly work out at a gym when she was in college. At some point, she stopped going to the gym, I think lately just due to her schedule, and preferred to work out at home or go for runs outside. About 18 months ago, she announced she was going to get back into the habit of going to the gym. She now had a job where she's able to make more time for it. It started off normal, but slowly became more and more frequent. She signed up for classes on the weekend, both days, then she started going to the gym every day. Then it became the morning before work, and then again later in the evening. Every single day. If she's stressed, she goes to the gym. Experience some sort of life crisis or tiny hiccup? She immediately heads to the gym. We have an argument? She runs to the gym. She's 4 months pregnant right now. I'm kind of surprised we even had time to make a kid. I understand that it's safe for her to work out, especially since she was already in the habit of doing it before she got pregnant, but the intensity is not slowing down. If she misses one of her normal gym sessions, she becomes irritable, like a junkie not getting her fix. It's just bizarre. Truly a case of too much of a good thing. Of course she gets upset when I voice that I feel it's becoming an unhealthy obsession and that I miss spending time with her, because she's there so much. She has all of these gym friends and this whole circle of people there, that she seems to prefer spending time with over me. Why don't we work out together at the gym? The gym is her time, she says. This isn't a case of me feeling insecure, because she's in great physical shape and I'm a fat slob. I work out too and am in shape, as my job really requires me to stay in shape. So I can't let myself go, even if I wanted to. I genuinely know her gym habits are unhealthy. She's over-exercising, for one. There is such a thing. But worse than that, I feel it's becoming a way for her to escape everything else in her life. She never actually fixed anything that goes wrong in her life. She just runs off to the gym to get some sort of mood boost and then that's it. She also never gets anything else done in a practical sense. Because how can she, when she's at the gym so often? It's to the point where I have to do every chore. And if food is getting made, I'm going to have to do it. I don't expect her to do all of those things, but it should at least be a shared effort. People we know have even commented about it to me. They've said things about how she seems different, how she sure is at the gym a lot, and many of her friends and family barely see her anymore. Some have even suggested she's having an affair with somebody there. Please tell me that this doesn't sound normal to you. She insists. This is perfectly normal. I posted not very long ago about my wife's addiction to the gym. A compulsion, if you will. She spends most of her free time there. She often goes twice a day, and sometimes even 3 times if we have a fight at night and she needs to run off, instead of actually talking to me. She won't let me go to her gym, and she refuses to go to mine. Her gym is her place, my gym is my place, and that's just the way it has to be according to her. I'd love to have her come along with me. I've invited her multiple times. She's about 18 weeks pregnant right now. This is our first baby. She worked out like crazy prior to the pregnancy, and she continues to just as hard now. I truly didn't think she was cheating on me. People suggested it in the last thread, and I laughed. You can tell she's at the gym a lot, she's in great shape. So she's obviously going there and training. I felt really confident about the cheating issue, and when I posted 9 days ago, I wasn't even considering cheating. I just mentioned it, as other people in my circle pointed it out silently. I'm embarrassed to admit that after reading a lot of the comments on my last post, I thought maybe I was being overly confident. About her fidelity. She usually always has her phone on her, but she left it in the kitchen counter. And as stupid as I felt, I decided to do a quick swipe through her texts. She had a current text conversation going on with a guy. I recognized the name. The same name of a guy from the gym she mentions a lot. She's friends with a lot of people there. Went to one of their weddings last fall. I wasn't too terribly concerned until I started reading the texts. Never wanted to know what the guy's stick looked like, but I know now. She was only out of the room for literally about a minute or two, so I had to scroll fast. I was furious. I wasn't gonna play mind games. I asked her what the fuck that conversation was about. She started yelling at me for looking at her phone. I entertained her accusation and told her because she's acting weird and the gym obsession was bothering me. So I just decided to look, and was ashamed that I did, but that I thought I'd find nothing at all. She said,
It's nothing. It is nothing.
Well, didn't look like nothing to me. She sure seemed pretty interested in this. Nothing. Either way, I wanted to know if she's been jumping him. For how long? She kept saying.
No.
I left the house because I was so furious. I couldn't contain my growing anger. But not before I slammed her phone on the ground and completely shattered it. She was calling me all sorts of names for breaking her phone. She hit me on the back as hard as she could. I left. Went to my brother's house. My brother and sister-in-law were shocked, although my sister-in-law was one of the most vocal ones about my wife's gym obsession being weird, and bringing it up to me constantly. I went back home after. She was in bed, crying. She obviously couldn't call me, or anyone else for that matter. She was laying it on thick.
I didn't know if you'd ever come home.
Give me a break. I took her phone to get repaired tonight. She doesn't deserve it, but I still feel like an ass breaking her phone. I still don't know how deep it goes. She won't admit to anything beyond what I saw. Was it sexting, which would be bad enough, or was it more? I'm convinced it was a lot more, but she refuses to hand over her phone and the factory reset didn't help. She's now trying to act like I'm this terrible monster who is dangerous to her, because I broke her phone in a rage. Not my proudest moment, but I honestly wanted to body slam her after she punched me. I have never and would never actually touch her like that. Not sure if posting something in my profile will be seen by anyone, but I don't feel like making another update in a subreddit. So I'll be updating here from now on. Today my wife asked me to stay home from work, so we could talk. She laid in bed all day yesterday, trying to get me to feel sorry for her, but I paid absolutely no attention to her, and ended up leaving the house to go to my family's Super Bowl party. I wasn't in the mood to go, but I wasn't going to sit at home with her smelling up the place. It really bothered her that I left. She kept texting me things like,
Who just leaves like that? When something like this is happening, who is that cold and callous that they just leave to go to a party?
I stayed home today to talk to her. She made this awkward ritual before having the talk. I embraced myself mentally, faking staying stone cold during the whole interaction. She was full of tears. She's so sorry. According to her, she really was going to the gym twice a day because she likes going there. That's where her friends are. Makes her feel good. It's fun for her. She met this guy there and he started flirting with her. Everyone likes him. He's one of the most popular guys there. I didn't realize there were popular people at gyms. She admitted that she flirted back, but didn't mean anything by it. She didn't reciprocate very much at first, but he gave her butterflies and she just found herself flirting back without thinking. She said it felt like when she had a crush on somebody when she was in school, when she was younger. Soft spot and belly tingles. For a gym bro? They started texting. At first it was just friendly and nothing graphic for several months, but she'd feel giddy every time she got a message from him. She was really attracted to him, but told him that she was married and there could never actually be anything between them. According to her, he kept flirting with her anyway and said, "Sure, we won't cross the line." Until of course, they did cross the line. She said she had tried to resist it for a while, but then one day, they kissed. She admitted to enjoying it, but also feeling that it was wrong. She must not have felt that bad, because she slept with him for the first time later that night. She described it like falling in love with somebody for the first time. All she could think about was him. Is she in love with him? She doesn't know. Is this baby mine? She thinks so, but there's always a small chance it could be his. He always used a protection, so she doesn't think it's his baby, but they were sleeping together at the time she got pregnant. Always, plural, who is this woman? She repeats that she loves me. But she plays the victim card, as she can't help that there's just this huge spark between the two of them. She doesn't know if she loves him. She doesn't know if the baby is mine. She doesn't know why she did this. She doesn't know what she thinks we should do. The nail in the coffin is when she said,
You wouldn't really leave me if it's not your baby, right? Would you?
She had the balls to ask me that. I told her, of course I'm leaving her, and I wouldn't raise another man's child. She seemed shocked. I've never seen her face contort in such ways, being utterly offended.
Huh?
She said,
Really? With everything we have and all our history, you wouldn't even consider it?
Oh, hell no.
she can't be serious. I told her, no, I would never consider it. It's a bad joke. Get out of here with that bonus kid BS. She agreed to get a DNA test. She tearfully agreed, like I'm supposed to feel sorry for her about it? I don't know who this woman is. She was crying the whole time, but no shameful tears or tears from an honest person feeling sorry. They were tears for herself, sorry she got caught for being the horrible person that she is. Tears meant to try to make me feel bad, trying to disguise her lack of morals and respect. Feel bad for what? That her heart is apparently so torn?
Royal AI.
My life has been reduced to a trashy daytime talk show. The woman who was once my wife, I was proud to call my wife and have her beside me, who I considered a classy woman, has turned into complete trailer trash. Today she announced that she's moving in with her affair partner from the gym. She's pregnant, might be his kid, might be mine. Roll the dice. She's too embarrassed to go get blood drawn for a paternity test. She spent about a week trying to get my attention, to get me to talk to her, to get me to beg her to be mine. I didn't fall for any of it. I've largely been ignoring her, and when we have to speak, I keep it very brief and straightforward. We've been living together this whole time, but I'm in a different room now and functioning separate from her, in all ways. So, her pouting and trying to get me to pay attention to her and give her a gold star for not going to the gym for 5 days in a row didn't work. Today she texted me to say she is moving in with him. Somehow I still care about this alien person. I've already met with a lawyer though. I can care about her as a human being and possible mother of my child, without being married to her. Still, it stung to hear her say she was going to be with him. I told her it wasn't a smart move to leave the house. I've told her she should aim her efforts at meeting with a lawyer. She doesn't care about anything I have to say. I don't think she needs to move in with anybody. I actually feel bad for her being so weakly dependent, that she can't just be on her own and face reality. I asked her if he actually knew she was pregnant, because I wanted to know what story she's been telling him this whole time. She said he knows and he doesn't care if it's my baby, he loves her and wants to be with her. Bizarre dude. You can't find anyone else? Somebody who isn't a married, pregnant woman? Why would you take that on? Doesn't make sense to me. Strange thing is, he's scum and everyone can see it. But he's good looking scum on the dating market. As he's apparently gainfully employed and owns his own home. So you can't tell me that my married, pregnant wife is your only option here? I just can't imagine being a single guy like that and wanting to put up with this baggage, when I could have other options. And if this really is my baby, Then what? My child will have to live with my cheating wife and this weasel 50% of the time? I don't know how my life turned into this mess. God. And she thinks it's embarrassing to have to go get blood drawn? Like I said, she doesn't go there, because it'll make her feel awkward. My wife moved in with her affair partner last weekend. She didn't take very much at all. Most of her stuff is still in our house. I noticed she was acting unhinged while preparing, which gave me the feeling that she was just waiting for me to beg her to stay, to stop packing and stay home. I couldn't give a flying penny. When she left, I didn't reach out to her at all. Let her sit in the filth she created. She made her bed now. It was a strange mixture of relief, anger, and sadness. I don't think I ate it all until last night. Just didn't feel hungry. Drank a little too much, but I'm fine. I'm posting this update because I've received a ton of messages from people. And honestly, it's emotionally draining to respond to each one and to have to type the same stuff out. I just don't feel like talking about her that much. So this will do better. So, this morning she texted me in an excited tone. She says that her affair partner wants to get a DNA test done, so she's going to do it. Look at that, didn't matter when I wanted one. But now that he has requested it, she suddenly thinks it's a great idea. She asked if I wanted to submit a sample because it'll be cheaper to have two dads tested, as part of one package. I could have been petty here. But I don't even care about the cost at this point, I just want an answer. I don't have to see or interact with them at all. I just have to make my own appointment with the lab to get my cheek swabbed. So this Saturday I'm going to do that and we should have the results within a week. I'll take what I can get at this point, because it's better than her dragging this out for another 20 weeks. So that's it. I'm fine. I'm going to work every day. Trying to function. Just feel stuck in limbo. I miss her. Honestly, I hate that she's there with him. It makes me sick. It really makes me feel sick to my core. Part of me does want to beg her to come home. It'll be even worse if I find out that it's my baby, and she's still there with him. Unless he drops her at that news, I won't let myself beg her. I won't play any of those games with her. She's gone, I'm done. At 11 this morning, I got the news. I am the father. I feel incredibly conflicted right now. My wife has been having an affair with a guy she met at the gym. For at least a year. She's around 22 weeks pregnant right now. She was somewhere around 17 weeks when I discovered she was cheating. She maintained that she was positive I was the father, but then refused to get a paternity test done. To ease my mind. We recently had a paternity test done, at the request of her affair partner. And it proves the baby is mine. It's been very mixed emotions for me, little up and deep downs. Originally I thought I just wanted to be completely done with her. And not have any lifelong ties in the form of a full-blown human being we shared. But I was sort relieved when I got the results. I'd already had it in my mind that I was going to be a father for months. Before I found out she was cheating. Sometimes I just have moments where I can't believe this is my life now. That this is the situation that my kid will be born into. And I hate her for it. She's still living with him. All of her belongings are still here. In our house. I refuse to do the work of packing everything up for her. She doesn't seem concerned about taking any of her things, beyond the essentials. After we got the news that I'm the baby's father, she texted me to say she's glad I'm the father. And that she knows I'll be a great dad. She was texting me new baby name ideas last night. She's tried calling. But I ignore the calls. I only speak with her via text, where I can hide my shame and anger. This morning she asked if she could come by and get a few things. I told her it was fine, as I've been advised by my lawyer to not prevent her entry from the home. But I told her that he better not be with her. So, who shows up with her? The scumbag boyfriend. He walks right on into my house behind her. Like it's no big deal. She ran upstairs to get the stuff she wanted. And he and I were just left standing there in the living room. He told me it wasn't her fault that he was there. She told him I didn't want him there. But he forced his way along anyway. He wanted to talk to me, supposedly, to tell me he understands how I must be feeling. No, you don't know. He told me he knows I probably don't believe him, but he genuinely loves her, and knew he wasn't the father. He accepts it, and then tried to assure me he won't try to take my place with the baby, and hopes we can just get along, since we're both going to be in her life now. He then promises that she's fine, because he's looking after her. I told him, it's weird that he's this hung up on a pregnant woman, who's married, and it's even stranger that he wants to stay and raise another man's child. I added that I couldn't make it make any sense, and it's too weird. Then I told him that I gave him the respect he didn't deserve, by letting him speak in my house, and if he didn't get out right now, I'd punch him. I went upstairs and she was trying to find some things in the bathroom. I got mad, asked her why she brought him along, and told her I find it really strange that he still wants to be with her, now that he knows he has nothing to do with this baby, and that I refuse to let him have anything to do with my child. She said he talked her into coming, and she's sorry, and never meant for any of this to happen, but she's in love with him now. He is supposedly what 30-year-old her is looking for. Not for me, a loyal man with morals. She's setting up a nursery in his house, and I can set one up at my house, and she has no intention of trying to get full custody or anything like that. She doesn't want to keep me from being involved in my child's life. How generous of her. She went back downstairs and I followed her. When we reached the living room, I saw him standing there. He was still standing in my house? Okay. So I walked up to him and punched him. He lost his balance, stumped back and fell into a table. She yelled,
What the fuck?
And ran over to him. I don't even care at this point. As if he's going to call the cops? He deserved it. And it wouldn't have happened had he just left. Like I told him to. Several hours later she texted me to say she was sorry about today. She added that he really meant what he said. And he's actually a good guy and he cares about her. Ooh. And he respects me. What the fuck? He respects me? He was doing my wife in the gym locker room. I told her she can't be serious.
Fine. I'm trying to have a mature conversation about this. I can't help that we fell in love. Believe it or not, I'm not trying to hurt you, and I want everything to be amicable and respectful.
Bruh.
This guy stole my wife. And he's stealing my kid too? Sure, I'm the actual father. But now they're setting up a nursery together. In his house? I've tried to not feel jealous or sad. I've tried to maintain the thought that he's the trash man who picked up my garbage. Sometimes I feel that way, but the truth is that I loved her, and still love her. I don't want to stay married to her on principle alone. Her cheating ass is out, but this is devastating to me.
Wow. The affair partner coming over like that is exactly how people get deleted. This is no game. Some people really reach their 30s while never having experienced a good old-fashioned smack to the face. I watch too much true crime TV, and this reads like the opening of one of ID Channel's true crime shows. Honestly, I'm surprised that OP kept his calm, and these people weren't worried about getting totally wrecked.
Meanwhile, I'm sitting here thinking I wish I had a gym addiction and ran there to escape life's problems instead of turning to chocolate. I guess in the end, turning to chocolate is the better option, though.
I've been bodybuilding for years and love the gym. I can definitely say that this lady sounds crazy to me, unhinged for sure. Going 2 to 3 times a day sounds terrible, not to mention, it's counterproductive.
Bro, these two are absolutely delusional. Really? Ex-wife thinks the affair partner is a good guy? Oh, for God's sakes. Ex-wife is a cheater and a terrible person, and the affair partner is a huge piece of garbage.
She's going to find out when the baby is born. because you know what's stressful on even a really healthy relationship. A baby. Add that this one isn't even the affair partner's, so it's even harder. This time next year, she's going to be crying to OP that she made a mistake, begging why he won't even think of their love child and get back with her. Best bet, I would put 5 bitcoins on it. He'll be cheating on her in no time. Surely with somebody at the gym.
His anger is understandable and righteous, but he should talk to a therapist before the baby comes. I think the kid being his is actually worse. If it wasn't his, he could be sad about it for a bit, but then never see his wife again. Now he's forever linked to this person who treated him like absolute garbage. I hope his kid grows up knowing just how horrible their mom treated their dad.
Royal AI.
My wife is basically 26 weeks pregnant now. There actually hasn't been much drama with her and her affair partner. I was away for a long weekend last week, and it was nice to just get away from home for a while. Only really annoying thing that's happened is that I told her I'm being in the delivery room, not him. After everything she's done, she owes me that. At least. It's not his baby. He has no right or reason to be there. I will not be the one waiting outside when my kid is being born into this world. She said she agreed, and she never planned to have him in there with her. I asked her if she'd told him that, and she said no. I told her to tell him he'll have no part in it. Well, she told him, and apparently he didn't like that, and he started trying to convince her why he should be there. Next thing I know, she's telling me that he really wants to be there, and she's the one giving birth, so she should be able to say who she wants there, and she wants him there. I suppose he'll start making name suggestions soon, and will try to overrule names I've had picked out for my future kids years ahead. We've talked a little bit, and she told me I can have our house and the dog in our divorce. I'm suggesting that we sell the house and split the profit. I had already written it down in the paperwork. I'm not buying her out of our house, a house that I alone made all the payments on anyway. I have a much better credit score than her, and way less debt. I compromised a lot on my end, because she liked this big house. I'd rather be able to get my own place based just on what I want, and get rid of reminders of her. Also, there was already no way she was getting the dog. I already had proof that I owned him though, so she wouldn't really stand a chance of having a court award the dog to her. It's the one thing I told my lawyer I wanted above everything else, not including any custody issues surrounding my actual human child. Honestly, her affair partner can have her, but he will never ever have my dog. Not to mention, my dog is 100 times more loyal than my wife, and some might even say, better looking too. So with the idea I won't be living here in this house for much longer after the baby is born, if everything moves quickly, I decided I will still prepare a nursery here anyway, in case anyone wants to try to accuse me of not being invested or prepared for fatherhood. I'm trying to look at the positives. It doesn't matter what colors she likes or what themes. I can do whatever I want. Honestly, we've been together for so long and have lived together for most of our adult lives. It's nice not living with somebody, but sort of lonely too sometimes. I have friends and family, but it's hard to feel in the mood to go out or hang out with people too often. They always ask me about everything that's going on, and I'm tired of that being the topic of conversation. Every single time. I got a promotion at work, which financially would have been better had it happened after the divorce, but I'll take what I can get. I feel like I'm living in this limbo right now, and a lot of what I do is always framed around, how will this affect me in the divorce? Admittedly, I spy on them on social media sometimes. Guess I'm hoping to see he's been in a motorcycle accident or something, now that the weather is nicer. Hasn't happened yet, but he's starting a new company, and once that's up and running, I can always get all my friends and family to leave 1-star reviews everywhere. Have to find ways to have a little fun. Sorry that I don't respond to a lot of messages or comments. Sometimes I just take big breaks from looking at Reddit, since it can be deeply depressing. Editing to add something I forgot. She told her family that we've split up, and that she's with this other guy now. Her sister reached out to me to say how sorry she was. Her sister is a dumbass. That sort of thing. Her sister knows what happened and is clearly on my side. My wife tells her sister everything, and her sister thinks I deserve the truth. She told me that my wife was stressing and complaining about her affair partner. My wife can't help but notice all the things that changed in her life, not for the better. Oh no. Their intimacy dropped to being a one-sided deal, only for him. Whenever he's done, it's over for both. He's difficult to live with during day-to-day life, and selfish concerning all the chores around the house. He doesn't do the extra little things for her that she's used to me doing. Like clearing the snow off her car in the morning, and heating it up before she steps in. Or taking the initiative to make her food after a long day's work, or even offering to help with dinner. He doesn't clean up after himself. He doesn't speak her love language, and he hangs out with his friends too much. You ever got goosebumps from being happy? Well, I did. As this made me so happy. Well, it's the small things that weigh you down in a relationship. She made her bed though. She took her own sister in confidence, which resulted in being a true blessing to me. She's secretly miserable, and I find that absolutely delightful.
While they cheat, it's all fun and games. You can't make this up. It's the same old story. When actually living together, reality starts to kick in. The affair only sees the honeymoon good parts. As soon as you add all the tough stuff, real life, living together, you realize it was just a lie. Remember, this is just one-sided and the cheating wife's perspective. Soon, the affair partner will also be getting all the negative stuff that the OP used to take on. It's delicious for them.
It's going to be a very short honeymoon phase. She will quickly realize that the grass isn't greener. I predict within a year, she will be trying to get back together with OP.
I predict much sooner than that. She is over 60% through this pregnancy. In just a few months when the baby gets here, all the little things they already don't like about each other is going to explode. Having a first newborn is tough, like you couldn't imagine. I don't think they will last 3 months together once the baby shows up. They will be tired all the time from not sleeping through the night. She's probably going to try and grab a lifeline, back to the reliable partner, to ask for help. Her affair partner might help a few times in the beginning, but as time wears on, he's not going to want to get up every couple hours, every single night. Every time he does, he will first be annoyed by the task, the baby crying, and repeatedly see the face of the real father. It's a different kind of mental game. Only strong individuals understand. A strong person could winter through, but you need morals for that. So, let's say it's going to wear him down, he has no chance. On top of it all, she's no longer going to be intimate with the affair partner. He's going to question why he's doing this to himself. And that'll be that. He won't want her anymore. But OP is done with her too. She'll have to go live with her family, if they'll take her. And there lies the poetic beauty of the consequences of her actions.
It's nothing, she says when OP finds the pics of his Wiener Schnitzel. What a nice way to refer to her lover's stick. Part of me wishes that OP would just detangle himself as much as possible and let her ruin her life with her affair partner. But I get it. She's pregnant with his kid. She knows it and loves the attention. I was honestly hoping it wouldn't be his, so he could be free. She's gonna be in his life forever now, even after the divorce.
Who has an affair with someone that is bad in bed? Isn't that the point of an affair? I guess she was smitten, but that seems to have passed now.
Quickies at the gym amps the excitement while having a built-in excuse for rushing out afterwards. I wish her every single misfortune possible.
This guy knew exactly what he was doing. He wanted to rub it in OP's face. Right now, he's running off the high of, "Your wife would rather be with me than with you." And he wanted to see the pain in OP's face. That's also why he's insisting on being in the delivery room. This is a different kind of evil, only a true simp and weirdo could be capable of. OP's spider senses are correct. His wife thought she monkey branched and upgraded, only to come to the realization that she's trapped because she followed her belly tingles. She can go work out all she wants if minor difficulties were too much to begin with. She's going to be living in the gym after this ordeal. Wow, this one's rich.
She must know her affair partner revels in this power play. This is probably why she is enjoying it so much. Some kind of power move while enjoying the taboo of being with a hot gym rat, sneaking around under her husband's nose. From what he's described, being together since she was 20 years old, she's always been taken care of by him, and obviously took him for granted, and just built up this horrible kind of resentment. She's going to use the child to tear him to pieces constantly, with the new boyfriend pouring salt over whatever is left of him.
I'm still alive. I'm mainly posting here because several people have reached out to me and were concerned that I chose deletion. No, I'm not on the brink of any such thing. The opposite is true. I think I'm doing better than I have since all of this started. Around the time of my last post, my story blew up, and I was getting messages from people who saw it on socials like YouTube. I had to take a step back, because it was a little overwhelming. I have over 100 unread messages here. I do appreciate it, but it was a little uncomfortable at the time, and I got to the point where I didn't really want to talk about the situation with my wife and her affair partner anymore. So as of today, our baby is due in less than 10 weeks. We're in the home stretch now. I don't feel prepared at all. All of this other stuff has just been distracting. I started working on a nursery. It's not done yet, but I have the floor finished and the walls painted. My ex-wife was impressed with the color scheme and furniture I chose. She's not legally my ex-wife yet, but I've started calling her that. It sort of makes it easier. I also packed up a bunch of her stuff. Originally I refused to spend my time packing up her things, but eventually just said screw it, and started packing it. I want it out, away from my surroundings. I'm at the point where it'll be easier to not see all of her stuff around here. I should have gotten rid of it all the first week. She came over to get some of the boxes I packed up. She came alone. Things were fine between us. I loaded the stuff into her car. We didn't argue. I didn't give her a hateful stare, I just stayed relaxed, like I am naturally. At one point, she started to tear up, saying, "She fucked up." I looked at her and said, "Yeah, you did fuck it up, but there's no point talking about it now. She crapped all over our marriage, no need to sugarcoat. She has her muscle-bound douche to go home to now anyway, so who cares?" She said,
I know, but it's not the same.
I told her, nothing has been the same since she decided to fuck him the first time. I didn't give her the reaction, attention or pity she craved for. Then she changed the subject. Supposedly, he's going to let me be in the delivery room when my baby is born. I didn't even argue it when she said it like that, but inside I was boiling at the idea of him letting me be there for the birth of my child. She says she talked to him, and he agreed it wouldn't really be right to not allow me to be there. I know what they're doing. I'm going to take what I can get, if it means being there for the birth of my child. I'm going to try to just ignore him for the time being. She switched her attitude a whole 180 degrees, acting all sweet and laying on all of the "I really want you there, I really need you there" nonsense. I know mentally I'm not in a place to be that cold to her when she starts acting that way. I'm trying to be indifferent more than anything else, but it's so hard when she's actually around and starts looking at me a certain way and making me feel bad. She invited me over to see the nursery they have set up at his house. I'm not sure I can bring myself to go into another man's house and look at the nursery set up for my kid. It's humiliating. But everything aside, my feelings, her reasons for any of it, one thing kept rubbing me the wrong way, so I asked her in a serious tone. I asked her if she was truly safe there though. I don't know why, it's just been bothering me. As pissed as I still am, I don't want to find out he's mistreating her. But even more so, I definitely don't want my child to be going into an unsafe household. I haven't told her about anything her sister has told me. But I do know there are toxic fumes building up. They probably won't last, but as of right now, there's a very good chance my newborn baby will be going home to his house. It breaks me down to think about. It's almost soul destroying to think about if I dwell on it too long. She says she's fine. He genuinely loves her. He's great with kids. He accepts that she's having a baby and that this is part of the package. She insists it's not weird, because she wasn't pregnant when anything started between them. I asked her why she did it. Why did she ever let anything start between them in the first place? She said, I don't know. Then went into, I don't want to talk about this mode, and left pretty soon after. Typical behavior from her, just run away, to find peace in cheap distractions. Overall, I'm doing okay. I'm not sitting here depressed and drinking a bottle of scotch every night anymore. I mean on occasion, but for the most part no. I feel more used to my new normal now, and that'll all change yet again pretty soon. There is a draft of a custody plan now, but the court won't approve anything until after the baby is born. Right now she's in agreement, but there's plenty of time for her to change her mind, or for him to convince her to change her mind. She plans to breastfeed, but with agreement that she'll pump and the baby can drink from a bottle when not with mom. Everything I've read says a baby ideally needs to spend time with each parent, frequently, without gaps that are too long in between, and it's best if each parent is feeding, changing, bathing and such during their time. At this time, she's in agreement with all of this. I can say that she's not said or done anything to indicate she wants to restrict my time with the baby, other than the whole delivery room thing. She seems to want me to be involved in that respect. I hope she sticks to her word. If not, I will be fighting it through legal means. I'll willing to fight till the end, on this hill. I have a baby. A little girl. I'm a dad. She was born yesterday at 11:57 p.m., 2 weeks early. As he's done before, she was having some pains off and on, and he left for work yesterday morning. She works from home on Mondays. She told me around 8:30 a.m. she was having contractions, 17 minutes apart. The same thing happened not long ago, but then by evening all the pain stopped. I was at work, so I told her to keep me posted. A little later she said they were 15 minutes apart, and she had some other signs it might be actual labor starting. I asked her if she needed somebody there with her. She said wanted and needed me to come be with her. I didn't even mean to volunteer myself. She was scared. I didn't even ask why she didn't call him. I left work and went over to his house. Uncomfortable doesn't begin to describe it, but there were obviously more important things going on. He wasn't there. She didn't even contact him. She said she just wanted it to be me and her. In her words, he hadn't seen her pee or do number 2 yet, because he can't handle it. I've witnessed all of that stuff already, so she was more comfortable with me there. I really tried to be as nice and supportive as possible. Set the whole thing about her affair, our marriage, everything to the side for a brief time. I don't really know what my purpose was being there, but I think she just needed somebody there, so she didn't feel alone. She spent most of the time stretching, and doing some sort of yoga labor routine and bouncing on this huge exercise ball. I twiddled my thumbs for the most part, and looked through a bunch of his belongings. I was timing the contractions and they were consistent and slowly did get closer together, so I thought it was actually going to happen. It wasn't nearly far enough along to go to the hospital yet, and it was getting close to when he'd get home. I was planning how I'd handle that, when she called me into the bathroom to ask me if her water broke. It wasn't like in the movies, with this huge gush of water. So, he got home, and I was there. He came into the house and the first thing he asked is,
"What are you doing here?"
The look on his face. I think he thought something else was going on. "No, you just left and went to work, and left her alone when she was scared." He said he was home and he'd be with her, until it was time to go to the hospital. He then put his hand on my shoulder, and said something like,
"Thanks, bud. I got it from here. We'll call you when you can come to the hospital."
He called me, Bud. I told him I wasn't his fucking buddy, and to fuck off. I could tell she wanted me to leave. I'm not sure she really wanted me to leave so much as she was in labor, and the tension between the two of us wasn't what she needed. And I knew that. It was his house. So what was I supposed to do? I left, and prayed they'd actually call me instead of letting me know the next day that my kid had been born. She texted me a few hours later, to say the doctor told her to go to the hospital. At that point, I still didn't know if I was going to be waiting outside or what he would decide was best for his apparent wife and child. I was allowed to be in the room. I didn't force my way in there. She yelled she wanted me to be there. He was there too. By far, the single most awkward experience of my life, and there was only one reason I was able to excuse it. She told me she needed me there, but the biggest reason was that I didn't want to miss the chance to be there when my kid was born, and to hold my kid before he did. It's primal. It was the most important thing in the world. I can't imagine what the doctors and nurses were thinking. It's fucking humiliating. To the core. Then, instead of helping with the labor, the guy tried to police what I could see. Dude, I put the baby in there. He's the strange peeping Tom watching. And this is still my wife. And that's my baby. My blood. I chose to stay dignified. And I ignored all his whiny commands, for the entire time. No authority, no say, no meaningful part in any of it. Reduced to a fly on the wall. That's just a nuisance or annoyance. I was there to do everything she needed or told me to do. My focus wasn't on him, but in any other setting, I don't think I would have been able to hold back. The baby came flying out. I mean, as far as labor goes. These are the nurse's words, and I trust labor and delivery nurses to know what they're talking about. She tore very bad, because the baby came out so fast. The baby is so tiny, barely 6 pounds and only 18 inches, but perfectly healthy. I went home for a short rest, although I really couldn't rest at all. I went back today and of course, he was there. Surprisingly, he said he was going to give us some time alone with the baby. Not sure if she had previously asked him to do that when I showed up or not, didn't ask. He even brought us all food, back when he returned a few hours later. I wondered if mine might be poisoned, but I let it slide. He's still not gone, so I'm wondering how long he'll be around. I just can't let myself do anything I can't take back, that will make her try to keep me away from my daughter now. I don't want them making it difficult for me. I'd prefer not to share her name publicly, but I can confirm it's the name we chose for a daughter years ago. He had no say and he hasn't said anything about the name at all. It kills me to see him holding her though. The aggression that goes through my body, it's like it laid dormant inside of me, until now, I can feel it boiling within. I can't describe it with words, to do it any justice. I have to keep calm, for my baby. I eventually left, because it was just too much, sitting there, pretending to be like some bizarre Three's Company. I'll know I will get my time with her, when he's not around. He's already posting them on his social media. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to figure it out. I just have to find a way to be the bigger person, because I won't let him or their relationship discourage me from being my daughter's dad. I totally get doing anything for your kids now, and if it means having to pretend to get along with him, I will. The following are comments I added to cover some of your questions. It's not about pick me. I just have a hard time not caring about my wife anymore. The fact that she was carrying my child made it a lot more difficult. Otherwise, I could have and would have cut all ties with her. I don't know, still feel the need to protect her or help her. But I know rationally, that part is dead, and she leeches of it. It'll get easier now that she and the baby are two separate people. The baby deserves my heart. Honestly, I'm considering doing something pretty stupid. She's getting discharged from the hospital early tomorrow morning. I don't want them to go home with him, so thinking about asking her to come home to our house instead. It's ridiculous, and setting us up for disaster. It's not that I want to be with her. I don't want my newborn baby going home to another man's house. It's not only for the baby's sake that I want to stop this nonsense. It be for my sake. Rest and peace of mind. It's not like we'd be divorced and living together forever. So, we'd live together for some period of time, but eventually we'd go our separate ways, date other people, and so on. We're over. I can't trust her again. That would be worse for our kid in the long run. I want to be there for my baby, and protect and provide for the little one. I can't trust her mom, but I can trust this strange man. Even less. At least by being in two separate homes in the first place, this will just be the norm for her, and she won't have to go through that heartache of being one family splitting into two. I just don't know how I'm going to be able to handle seeing my child going home from the hospital to his house. I'm honestly scared to be present when they're discharged, because I'm not sure I can control myself. I was present, and it happened. I caved, and I asked her to come home with me when they were discharged from the hospital. I framed it more like, if you don't want to go home with him, you don't have to. I let her know she could come home to our house if she wanted to. She said she can't. Why? Because he's done so much for her. He moved her into his house. They have a whole nursery set up. He loves her. I don't love her anymore after what she did, her words, but he loves her and accepts her, even with a baby from another. She thinks she'll never find anyone who will love her, and love our baby too, so she can't risk losing him. I tried to tell her she doesn't owe him anything. Just because he let her move in and there's a nursery there, doesn't mean she's indebted to him, especially not when it comes to something this big. She said, I want to, but I just can't. I'm sorry. I left. I told her I couldn't sit there and watch them both get into his car and go to his house. As a consolation, I got you can come over and see her tomorrow. Great. I know she did this. This is all her doing. But why am I the one feeling like I failed? This wouldn't have happened if I hadn't immediately shut her out. I basically just pushed her to him. Days passed. He keeps posting pictures of my child. So today I told him he can't post pictures of her online. He said he was just posting a few pictures to say how proud and happy he was of my wife, and it wasn't weird. I said he can post her all he wants, but he can't post the baby. He didn't seem to be taking it seriously. So I told him, I know he wishes he'd won this one, but he didn't. She's my kid, not his. If he's genuine about being all buddy-buddy, and respecting me as the actual father, he'll respect my request. He said okay, he understood. We'll see about that.
Royal AI.
There is something seriously wrong with her affair partner. Be warned and take this serious, OP. This is not normal behavior for a healthy man. It's a huge red flag and shows he's a perverted degenerate.
Strangely, I've reached the point where I've started hoping he actually just loves her this much. I hate it, but that would be the best case scenario for my kid, opposed to all of the other explanations that have crossed my mind.
You're wrong there, with due respect, sir. Unfortunately, I think this is an ego thing for him. He is accepting her with the child, because he is winning over you in his mind. He thinks he's so great. He managed to take your wife and child. People like this don't think like you. They don't actually love others. They just use others for their personal, twisted reasons. Not to try and attack you, but how could you let your baby daughter go with him, a vulnerable baby with a man that's a true danger? I think you're being too passive in this.
I've had him checked out. Thoroughly. Can't find anything. I have no evidence that he's violent. My child's mother lives with him. That's her home now. Not much I can do. I know it's bad, as I'm living this now.
I'd be at that guy's house as much as possible. I'd even be there so much that it'd just make more sense to let you sleep over. You need to be around your daughter, and as an added bonus, you're a thorn in his side.
The good news is that I get paternity leave. He's not a parent here, so he gets nothing. I can spend plenty of time without him around. Only catch is that even if my wife invites me over every single day, it's not actually her house. It's his house, and he can legally make me leave. I'm going to try to play the game for now.
Torment the guy. Just pop in randomly and take care of your daughter. In his house. Just chill there, whilst he was at work. You don't need to interact with your wife and can just put it up as you want more time with your daughter. It will drive him to absurd paranoia, since he knows that she has cheating in her, and he knows that you don't like him. So there is only bad blood, and you won't lose a wink of sleep or effort.
I'm doing that today, actually. He's going back to work today. Surprisingly, he's been off work since the baby was born. For the most part, I plan to be around when he's not there. It's just easier for all of us that way. He knows I'm there. There's nothing sneaky about it, even though I personally wouldn't find it sneaky to visit my child. When the child's mother allows it, I have paternity leave. And I'm not just going to sit around my house by myself. I want to be involved. I also need to be involved to set that precedent from the get-go, for custody purposes. Today was the first day I went over there, while he was gone. The intention is really for me to have time with the baby, while my wife sleeps or showers, or does her own thing. Not for us to spend time together. But from this first day we're alone, she asked me to help her with an enema. How can you be with this guy, have given birth in front of him now, and you still refuse to let him see you do anything gross? At first I told her no, I'm not available to do those sorts of things for her anymore. Then she cried. Because she hasn't pooped since she came home from the hospital. And he won't understand, she says. So I helped her. She seemed genuinely thankful and embarrassed by it. But I'm not there to help her freaking nurse. I'm there for the baby only. Luckily, I have a house too. And he can't stop me from having my child at my own house all day long. If that's what her mother and I agree on. If she needs to come with the baby for any reason, such as nursing, then she can come too. Of course right now it's easier for her, since she has everything she needs over there. But I've already thought about trying to move things over to my house, since it feels awkward as hell hanging out over there.
Does it seem to you like something just doesn't add up with her behavior? She says she loves him, wanted him at the birth, lives with him, and won't leave him to go back home, to live with you even though you asked. Yet she relies on you for the intimate assistance, with her contractions when she went into labor, her fears about going into labor, and now saying that she wants you, the man who she cheated on, and left within days of confessing to be with him, to help her with an enema rather than her new man. OP. Listen up and listen good. It's very easy to do your own enema. Just follow the directions on the box. Be careful. Don't let her suck you back in with her tears. Her damsel in distress act. Be careful now, because then she can lean on you for all the hard, normal, daily life stuff. All the things she tried to escape by having her affair. Then keep her affair partner in the fun fantasy box. He has to be her everyday, normal day-to-day stuff guy now, not you. I get you're not the nurse, but she still has some ways to manipulate you, and you need to let them go through the hard parts.
Sweet OP, she's a woman with a baby. She will even manipulate you unconsciously if she was an honorable woman. Accept this truth, because I know. This is what you do, and it's going to be nasty, but you have to play dirty for your daughter. If you want your baby home with you, it's easy to accomplish. You will have to tell your wife that you still love her, and although you're terribly hurt, you want to reconcile. You don't want to. I know, you know. But here's the thing, she doesn't have to know. And what do you get? You'll get those first few precious months with your daughter. She clearly wants to come home, you just need to give her hope that there is a chance. If you want your baby home with you, the time for half measures is past. It's time to arm the nukes, everything for your daughter. Just nudge her into the right direction. There you go. It's not going to be easier than this. You are welcome. and to think my bad side would never be used for any good.
So here goes. You can all hate me. But it's the truth nobody wants to hear. I'm gonna sound like the biggest, nastiest, most evil person in the world. But I'd completely separate myself from the situation. Child support for a child you didn't want with a lying, cheating wife and her piece of trash partner? Absolutely not. Sell everything you own, put the money in an offshore account where it can't be taken, and start a new life in Thailand or something. Ayo, get out of here and double F this crap. She wanted to cheat. She wanted to keep the baby. She wanted to stay with her affair partner. It's on her now. Find someone else. Somewhere else. It would have been even better if you didn't see the baby at all and did this before the birth. It's ruthless. It's a bad move. I know how you weaklings think of a person like me. But she chose the hard path. Let her sleep on cold stones of the streets. It's time you put yourself first. This madness has been going on for far too long. People need to be absolutely merciless when it concerns cheaters of this magnitude. Sorry for everything, bro. I'm really sorry for you. But the hard path will set you free.
No, I wanted to have kids with her. Before she cheated. I wanted to be a dad. Just not like this. Our adult mistakes are no reason for me to abandon my daughter. My blood.
Good for you, OP. Don't listen to that person. This is not helpful advice. It's not about his cheating wife and her affair partner. Only the baby matters now. In time, you will meet a woman who would be willing to be a stepmother to your child, and you can form a family of your own. You can have a clean conscience, because your new relationship won't be tainted by cheating. He is free. This is the hard path that will keep him free. I've said it before, but you, your name, and now your daughter will forever be tied to your wife and her affair partner. You'll always be a part of their story, in their lives, in their bedroom, because of what they have done to you. Every time someone asks them about their relationship, your name will be the first thing that comes to their minds, but not you. Keep focusing on your baby. It will take a while, but you're going to be doing great. I saw you mentioning in the comments that you have family living nearby.
Oh, sad situation for a child to be born in. I pray the child will be safe and will not have to suffer so much. As soon as the cheating ex gets pregnant by her gym bud, OP will have the kid all the time. Then it will be fine.
I can't wait for OP to find someone new and have his ex-wife just absolutely break down. In the meantime, his ex and her affair partner will be struggling with the newborn, and all the charm of their adventures will be worn off quickly. No more sexy time. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
That was my thought. The tearing means she will be out of commission on that end for a while. Plus, the affair partner may not realize how intense raising a newborn or a toddler is. And the mix of no action in bed, mom bod kicking in, and the stress of a constantly wailing baby may turn him off to the wife. And once wife isn't fun anymore, and the pride of stealing another man's child wears off, he's going to run to the next spring chicken he can snipe and hunt.
Yes, this outcome of another woman is inevitable, as it's easy for a man with a home and his mindset to find a better quality woman than his ex. The moment his ex finds out, she's gonna spiral, and her feelings that led her into this will betray her again and keep her down, making even worse decisions. This will definitely be the moment when crap will hit the fan, and OP will see his ex-wife's true colors. She's saying just enough of all the right things to keep OP feeling something for her, and on tenterhooks. She wants to keep OP in her back pocket and thinks he will do anything for her and their child. Once another woman is on the scene, she is going to lose her shit. I predict she will turn up on OP's doorstep, try anything to get him back. He will reject her. She will cry and retreat to her affair partner. the morally deficient and low-character affair partner enjoys the limelight for a while. Maybe 2 years tops? Being the hero, that took on a ready-made family. Undoubtedly, he is getting feedback from his own friends and family that he is incredible and amazing for rescuing this woman because they've told the friends and family a twisted version of the story. I actually am going to go against the grain and predict they will stay together because OP's ex will stay with her affair partner out of sunken cost fallacy and feel like she needs to prove to outsiders that she did the right thing, despite being deeply unhappy. They will probably have more children together. She will be bitter towards OP and make child custody difficult because she will hate to see him happy with another woman. Sadly, this is a tale as old as time.
This guy breaks my heart with every update. I feel so bad for him. He sounds so defeated. It's really heartbreaking. He's handling it so much better than I would have. I'd have a daughter with a murderer for a father. I would have gone completely insane when he showed up unannounced and just walked in.
Wow, this guy swallowing his pride and setting aside all the crap for the sake of the baby. She's right, you know. He will be a good dad. I'm so angry for this man. I hate those two so much. To OP's wife and the affair partner, I hope both of you forever step on burning rocks while you run away from your own shadows. You pathetic excuses of people.
I know one better, God willing. They are both struck by meteors, and OP can be a fully self-actualized and serene single dad.
Royal AI.
What would you advise OP? Let us know in the comments. Don't like, don't subscribe. Only if you really like to be part of this community. And if you have a story you're willing to share, email it to contactroyalai@gmail.com, as many of you already know. It really helps when you share the best stories with me. Before I go, I would like to express my gratitude to you, the loyal viewers. Thank you, the loyal ones. Oh, and if you're triggered by the stories on this channel,
We do not care.
see you in the next one.